All right, so first and foremost, I'm going to address my attire. As you know, I don't dress this way often. However, today's cold. We're just about 60 degrees. Yes, it's sunny, but with that cool breeze out of the north, it's cold. I'm staying inside for the most part. I ran out a little bit here and there, but when it's days like this, you just snuggle up, get in front of the TV, watch some football, and enjoy your afternoon that way. But what we're going to be talking about today has nothing to do with that. We're literally going to discuss a topic that comes up for every single person that relocates to another city because it's important. So what we're going to discuss is, can I even afford a home in Florida? We're getting after that next. Okay, so as you know, the market has been kind of crazy and a lot of people really don't know which direction to go sometimes. In fact, I had a phone call yesterday with Bill, and that was his big concern, is all the stuff that's been going on, whether it's the prices and the interest rate or the storm we just had and the condition of the homes. What am I supposed to do? Which direction do I go? How do I get started? That's why he called me. He wants to know and get some direction from somebody that's been here for over 25 years and knows what's going on here and watches the market and kind of advise on the things that I'm seeing. And we're going to get after a number of those things. We're going to have a discussion about pricing. We're going to talk a little bit about location. And in future videos, we're going to deep dive into location again and really give you an idea of what this area has to offer in the different places. But if you are considering a relocation to Florida, specifically Southwest Florida, contact me. You know that this channel has been a source of information for anybody looking to really relocate to this area of Florida. And if you want more information about that process or would like a way to look up homes, you can use the app that we have for your mobile phone, or you can go to our nextfloridahome.com to do your search there. But the best way to get your questions answered is to call, text, or email, because I do truly have your back when you're moving here. And if you want some guidance, contact me whatever way you're comfortable so that we can get you going in your process to relocate to Florida. All right, so affordability is a huge concern no matter where you're relocating to, and I get that. We have to be able to pay for the things that are going to allow us to survive there. Everybody has to do it, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like for you as an individual. I had Karen, we talked this week and got her set up on her new construction home, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why we went new construction, because there's some hurdles that we're dealing with right now, and you may not want to get into them. Now, prices here are leveling out a little bit. We've seen an adjustment down, but right now it's kind of more of a plateau. There are some things going on with the builders that we're going to discuss, some things that might help you out. But one of the top things that you can do for yourself to make things more affordable is get to the locations that may be not in high demand, like proximity to the actual city. The closer you get to the downtown areas of Cape Coral and Fort Myers, where everything is, prices can increase. That's just by way of proximity to the things that you're going to use. If there is a thing such as the beach, like water, anything like that, closer you get to it, the more expensive it gets. So what do you do if you want to reduce the price? Get further away from it. Yes, that does mean you're not going to have as many conveniences nearby, but you could end up with many more new construction opportunities at better prices, because these builders, when they're starting to put the homes into communities and even on the vacant lots, they're looking for locations where their investment in the land is lower so that they can move those houses faster. So if you're not tied to being so close to things and you have a little flexibility on driving to get to the places you want to go, you may want to consider getting a little further away from the city for your next home. Now, I want to encourage you to stop believing the lies about the higher interest rate is going to kill the housing market. There's some markets that definitely could be affected. I get that. There's some people that still, either by choice or by circumstance, aren't working. So that's obviously not going to play well for you. But when we talk about the affordability of being in this location, there are things that are happening right now that are going to be helpful. Sellers and builders are giving incentives to people to get them to make the decisions to purchase. One of the ways they're doing that is not only in price reductions. Now you're probably sitting there saying, well, if they're doing price reductions, are they going to keep reducing as we keep going? We don't know what that looks like. And from Karen's situation, like I said, we're going to get in a little deeper about what she did and why she chose it, but she was given incentives by the builder. Now, in talking to the builder, there were only a couple homes they did it with. And where they're giving the incentives on homes that are about to finish, that they have to move off their books. So volume builders, these guys that have 35, 40, and 50 homes going in our small location here, they need to get these off their books to start the next ones. So if that home sits for any amount of time, it's not good for business. They're going to give you incentives to drop the price. They're going to help pay down the interest rate to make your payment more affordable. They're going to contribute to your closing costs. So there's a lot of different ways that they can help you out. Here's the funny thing. Because the builders started doing this, guess what the sellers started doing? On resale homes, the same thing. They can negotiate in a discount for you and apply it to an interest rate or towards your closing costs. So there's a number of ways that we can help you still get into an affordable situation by just moving the numbers around. Simple as that. Now, in Karen's situation, she came to me looking at a home that just hit the market. Resale home, looked like it was decent space in it, and it was in a good neighborhood. But as I dug in further by calling the agent and getting more details, the roof was beat up a bit from the hurricane. However, the owners did not put a claim in to get the roof replaced. So now the buyer is going to have to assume that responsibility. Now, if the roof, a key part of your house, is beat up to the point that you aren't even going to be able to get insurance, what else could be wrong with the home? So Karen started to say, you know what? The price is so close to new construction. I want new construction. I want a home that's finished. I want a home that has all the safety items in place, has all the efficiencies that these new homes come with, and I don't have to worry about fixing things as soon as I move in. So that's what she did. And when she went to the builder again, they gave her incentives, helped her with her closing costs, reduced her interest rate, all these steps to make it that much easier for her to get her Florida home. If you're considering the process of purchasing, you have to weigh out resale homes and potential damage to be repaired versus new construction, and I don't have to do anything. Now remember, if you go new construction, if you want a third party to look this over, whether you're going to be here or not, just somebody that's your liaison in between the builder and yourself. As many people, if you look at some of the forums here, you're going to find that communicating with a builder can be super difficult. They're so busy and they're fielding these calls all the time, it just gets overwhelming. So you need that person that can speak on your behalf, and it doesn't cost you anything. As I've told you before, the builders are already putting the price and the commissions for a real estate agent to work with you. It's already in the price of the home. So whether you have one or not, it's still being charged. So do yourself a favor, get somebody to help you out, help with the communication, help push the process along so that you can get in your home sooner. If you're somebody that is considering the new construction route, go ahead and reach out to me. Again, whatever method you prefer, I'll answer anything I can about the business. I used to be a sales consultant for the new home builders before I came into general real estate. So I do have the background to give you more details and help you through that process. Now, the pricing right now for these new construction homes, it's starting to get towards the lower threes. Mid threes is what I'm seeing the most, the mid 300,000 mark. And that is for a home that's between 16 and 1,800 square feet. Once again, usually a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage. It'll have granite 42-inch cabinets, tile throughout all the main areas, paver driveway, and lanais. So you get a really nice setup with these homes. And again, there's warranties on them. It's brand new. You don't have to stress having to fix things right away. With that said, for that price range of about $350,000, you're going to need an income somewhere in the $60,000 range, a household income. So that's not one job. However, I took the time to find out that there's hundreds of jobs that are in that $60,000 range here in Florida. So if you are coming on your own, those jobs are there. You might even be working remote. The number of people I'm talking to now that are working remote is ridiculous. So you might be one of those fortunate people where it doesn't matter. You're just carrying your income from where you're from. And if you're over that 60,000 mark, you're going to be comfortable with that kind of a setup. Now, this particular pricing, again, it's very general. I still encourage you to speak to a lender. The lender that I use helped my mother, helped myself, helped about 3/4 of the clients that I worked with over the years. So he knows what he's doing, very, very detail oriented, and you'll get the answers you need about how affordable it'll be for you based upon your particular circumstances. All right, so I'm going to jump onto a completely different topic, and this came by way of speaking to my buddy who just moved down here from Pennsylvania. Brad, thank you for the information because it's something we don't pay attention to. He said to me, do people even understand how a turn signal works down here? And I would probably say we understand how it works, but here's the reason why I told him I believe turn signals aren't used as much as they should be. When you give an indication of your intent to break into the flow of traffic, for some reason, people feel like they have to race you to not let you in. Now, it's not everybody. There's some people that are courteous and let you in. But the number of times that people have probably been blocked out by putting their turn signal on, it's a whole lot easier for them just to sneak in without putting their signal on and get where they wanted to go. So it's one of those things, again, where we have to practice patience. There's nothing we can really do about it. Maybe if more people allowed for people to turn signals on to get into the flow of traffic, then we could see them more often. All right, so I was also talking to my buddy about where he's living right now. He's renting a place up in the Lakewood Ranch area, which is about an hour north of here, and he's having a house built up there. But one of the things that was really interesting is the HOA up there has a particular rule about dogs that is insane. I mean, it's insanely cool because it cuts down on a major problem that people have with dogs in the community. They have their bodily functions like every other being on the planet. What they do there is they swab the dog for their DNA when they're granted permission to be in the community. And if there's any dog droppings left anywhere, they test it against the DNA and they will match it to the dog, and you will be fined $150 if they find it's your dog. Yeah, that's pretty extreme. I love the technology in it, and once again, this could alleviate that concern that people have about having all these dogs and the messes they're going to make. Because there are owners out there that do not take the bags with them, and even if they hand them, sometimes they're lazy enough to not even pick it up. So this is a solution to that, and something that maybe more HOAs are going to start to bring into the communities in which they service. I quickly wanted to touch on disasters and how there's different levels of risk that we get ourselves involved in, no matter what it is. It could be flying, driving, going for a swim in the ocean, boating, all these different activities you're doing. There's risk in all of it, right? So where you live, there's also risk. We have risk of flooding and hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes, all this stuff, right? I'm seeing all these reports across the country, flooding in California, tornadoes in Atlanta. We know the Mississippi River floods also. The hurricanes can be anywhere from Houston all the way around the south end of the country, down around Florida and up the East Coast, right? All these places have been affected by this stuff at some point. Even the Great Lakes with the snowstorms and the blizzards. People are dying in some of these storms. They're so strong. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is the number of people that still are concerned about hurricanes. That has to stop, because what you get on the other side of it, on all the other days that you're not getting a hurricane, is the best weather that you can find in the country. And there's no reason you're not going to want sunshine all the time. The vitamin D alone is going to keep you healthier. The mental state in which you're going to be having all this sunshine. I was talking to Brad again about the gray skies and stuff up in Erie, PA, where we come from. It's gray up there all the time in the wintertime. So to have sunshine all the time is a huge bonus. So as far as disasters go, hurricanes you can run from if you want to. Many people choose to, some people don't. If you're somebody that is afraid of what that looks like, take off for the storm, come back when it's done. And again, like any of these other disasters that are happening, these things can be replaced. All I have to ask you is, how do you want to live your life while you still have it? Do you want it to be in a place that you wake up every morning being happy that you're there? Or are you going to trudge your way through the day half miserable because it's cold, it's raining, it's snowing, it's whatever? That's your choice, but take the risk part and understand that that happens in almost everything we do in our life, no matter where we live. Now, pickleball is a major sport. It's gaining traction all over the place, all around the country. In Florida, obviously because of our weather, we're seeing these pickleball courts come in everywhere. They're in communities, they're in parks, they're building these things to a point. And the reason I'm bringing this up, Cape Coral is building a 16-court pickleball court, and it's going to have a concession stand, 180 car parking lot. It's being situated right over by the Sunsplash park. It's a water park that we have here. But they're building this to make it as an attraction to bring in the pickleball tournaments that currently are being held in places like Naples and Port Charlotte. So this is going to add another venue to bring more people to Cape Coral to be able to enjoy all the things that we have to offer. So if you're hearing the pickleball, kind of wiffle ball hitting off those wood paddles, you know the sound. It's very distinct. Yes, it can get annoying. They've talked about putting up walls around this park so that the noise isn't quite as bad for the neighboring homes, but it's coming, and we're bringing another revenue source to Cape Coral. All right, so that's just a little bit more about whether or not you can afford to move to Florida or not. We can get much more detailed if you want to take that next step, but if you want more information about moving to Florida or just finding out what it's like living here, check out one of these other videos. And if you've got a specific question you need an answer to, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.